They paint a beautiful picture, don't they? A world humming with quiet efficiency. The gentle hum of an electric car charging in every driveway. Rooftops gleaming with solar panels, drinking in the sun's energy. They speak of a future that is clean, sustainable, and intelligent. They call it the smart grid. In the stories they tell, on every news channel and in every government press release, it is our salvation. A sophisticated, self-healing network that will finally tame the volatile power of nature. It will seamlessly integrate wind and solar, balancing supply and demand with the precision of a digital watch. They promise lower energy bills, an end to blackouts, and a decisive victory in the war against a warming planet. It is presented as progress, an inevitable and necessary step into a brighter, greener tomorrow. They use words like resilience, optimization, and empowerment. They tell you this new grid is being built for you, to save you. But have you ever stopped to ask a simpler, more fundamental question? When has a system of this magnitude, pushed with such coordinated, global urgency by the most powerful entities on Earth, ever truly been for your benefit? Let's dispense with the pleasantries. Let's peel back the green-washed marketing and look at the machine for what it is. The smart grid is not a tool to manage energy. It is a weapon to manage you. The efficiency they speak of is not about optimizing kilowatt hours. It is about optimizing social control. Sustainability is not about the planet. It is about sustaining their power over every aspect of your life. This is not an infrastructure upgrade. It is the construction of a digital cage, and they are convincing you to help build it, to pay for it, and to willingly step inside. The foundation of this cage is the narrative of crisis. They have manufactured a sense of perpetual emergency, the climate crisis, so profound and so terrifying that it justifies any measure, no matter how intrusive. Who would dare argue against a policy designed to save the planet? It's a masterful psychological operation. They created the problem, a world addicted to the very energy sources they control. They stoked the reaction, fear, guilt, and a public cry for a solution. And now, they present their pre-packaged solution. It is the oldest play in the book. The Trojan horse they are wheeling into your home is the smart meter. It's a friendly little box, they say. It will talk to the grid, find the cheapest times to run your dishwasher, and send you helpful charts on your phone. A convenience. But what is it, really? It is a surveillance device. A digital spy wired directly into the heart of your home, with a far more intimate understanding of your life than any camera or microphone. It knows when you wake up because it registers the spike from your coffee maker. It knows when you go to sleep as the house powers down. It knows what you watch, how you cook, when you leave, and when you return. It logs every appliance, every light switch, every single watt you consume, second by second. This isn't data for saving you money. This is a behavioral profile of unprecedented detail. It is gold for those who wish to model, predict, and ultimately control your behavior. This data is fed into the brain of the system, a centralized artificial intelligence. This is the core of their design, the part they don't discuss in the glossy brochures. An algorithm, written in secret by the architects at Google, Siemens, and Microsoft, will analyze the constant stream of data from millions of homes. It will learn your patterns. But it won't just learn. It will judge. It will be programmed with a set of acceptable parameters, dictated by the ideologues at the World Economic Forum and enforced by your government. They will call it a carbon score or a social responsibility index. Your allocation of energy, your very ability to participate in modern life, will be tied to this score. Did you use your air conditioning on a day the AI deemed high demand? Your score drops. Did you take a trip that exceeded your approved carbon footprint? Your score drops. What if your social media posts or online searches are flagged as misinformation? What if your digital ID is linked to attending a protest they didn't approve of? It would be trivial for the algorithm to correlate that activity with your identity and enact a penalty. This is not speculation, it is the logical endpoint of the architecture they are building. Imagine a world where your power is not a utility, but a privilege that can be throttled or revoked algorithmically. One day, you find your electric car won't charge. The system has decided you have traveled enough for the month. Another day, your heating is shut off because you exceeded your community's energy budget. There is no one to call, no one to appeal to. You have simply violated the terms of service for existing in society. The system has spoken. This is not about saving the planet from you. It is about saving them from you. It's about eliminating dissent and enforcing compliance on a scale previously unimaginable. When every aspect of your life, your warmth, your light, your communication, your transportation, your work, depends on a connection to a grid that they can sever with a single keystroke, you are no longer a citizen. You are a subscriber, and the terms of service can change at any time, without your consent. They are building a societal off switch, and they are nearly finished putting their finger on the button. The promises of a green utopia are merely the lullaby they sing to keep you asleep while they lock the door. So, who are the architects of this grand design? Who are the faceless figures orchestrating this global project from behind the curtain? They would have you believe it is a benevolent, decentralized effort of governments and corporations working transparently for the common good. This is a lie. This is not a committee, it is a cabal. A syndicate with a clear, hierarchical structure, working in lockstep to achieve a shared objective. Let's name them. Let's drag them out of the shadows and into the light. At the very top, you have the ideologues, the high priests of this new world order. Their pulpit is the World Economic Forum. They don't build anything themselves, they build the narrative. They publish the white papers, host the lavish conferences in Davos, and craft the benign-sounding language that masks the fangs of their agenda. Phrases like, the Great Reset, and, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, are born in their halls. These are not academic theories, they are the blueprints for a centrally managed, technocratic society. And if you read their own documents, the ones they don't expect you to, you will find the smart grid is not a peripheral idea. It is the central nervous system, the sine qua non of their entire vision for global governance. They provide the why. Below them are the builders. This is where the Goliaths of Silicon Valley and industry come into play: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Siemens. They are the master masons of this digital prison. They don't care for ideology, they care for contracts worth trillions of dollars. Google and Microsoft provide the cloud infrastructure and the AI algorithms, the digital brain that will process your life as data points. Amazon provides the logistical backbone and the consumer-facing devices that herd you into the ecosystem. Siemens and other industrial giants build the physical hardware, the substations, the relays, and, of course, the smart meter. Their spy in your home. They are not simply contractors, they are willing partners, profiting handsomely from the construction of the control grid. You are paying them, with your taxes and your data, to forge your chains. But who forces these powerful entities to march in the same direction? Enter the financiers, the real seat of power. I'm talking about the monolithic asset management firms, primarily BlackRock and Vanguard. These are not merely investment companies, they are the largest shareholders in virtually every major corporation on Earth, including both the tech giants and the legacy energy companies. Their power is not overt, it is structural. They wield a weapon called ESG, environmental, social, and governance scoring. On the surface, it seems noble. In reality, it is a lever of ideological coercion. They use their immense voting power as shareholders to force companies to adopt green policies, like the smart grid, regardless of cost or consequence. They can make or break CEOs. They can reroute the flow of global capital with a single policy change. They are the unseen hand guiding the free market to build a very unfree world. They provide the how. Finally, you have the enforcers. This is the role your own government plays. They are the public face of the operation, the hired muscle. They use the WEF's crisis narratives and the urgency created by the financiers to justify the implementation. They pass the laws, the mandates, and the regulations. They use your tax dollars to subsidize the builders. They tell you it's for national security or climate action. In reality, they are mid-level managers in this global enterprise, trading the sovereignty of their nation and the freedom of their citizens for a seat at the big table. And what are their tools? We've spoken of the smart meter, the Trojan horse at your door. But what happens to the data it collects? It is fed to the AI, the digital judge. This is the heart of the machine. An inscrutable algorithm, programmed with the values of the ideologues, will be given the authority to allocate energy. It will not be a negotiation. It will be a judgment. It will analyze your consumption patterns and score you. They will call it your carbon footprint or your energy efficiency score. But it is nothing less than a social credit system, implemented through your utility bill. Imagine the interface, a dashboard, not for you, but for them. They see a user, ID number 734, has exceeded their monthly travel allowance, flagged by their electric vehicle's charging data. The system automatically throttles charging speed. User #219's home is consuming electricity for heating during a peak preservation period, decreed by the AI. The system automatically lowers their thermostat by 5 degrees. This isn't a future possibility, it is the patented, advertised function of these systems. Efficiency is the marketing term for algorithmic rationing. Sustainability is the euphemism for your absolute submission. Why go to all this trouble? The motive is as old as time itself: control. Absolute, granular, undeniable control. In a fully digitized, cashless society, the ability to grant or deny access to the power grid is the ultimate weapon. It is a leash around the neck of every single citizen. Disagree with the official narrative? Participate in a protest? Express an unpopular opinion online? In the past, they might freeze your bank account. In the future, they won't need to. They will simply flip your switch. No heat, no light, no communication, no work, no transportation. You become a non-person, effectively exiled from society without a single shot being fired. The second motive, of course, is profit. The shift to this new infrastructure represents the single largest transfer of wealth in human history. Trillions of dollars, flowing from the public purse and private citizens, into the coffers of the syndicate building the cage. So now we see the architects and we see their tools. We see the unholy alliance of globalist ideologues, corporate builders, shadow financiers, and compliant governments. We understand that the pretty picture of a green utopia is just the wrapping paper on a box containing a system of total control. But they know a simple off switch isn't enough. A cage needs more than just one lock. It needs to be inescapable. That is where the other pillars of their architecture come into play, and how they plan to connect them to ensure there is no way out. They have the architects. They have the motive. They have the Trojan horse at your door. But as we saw, a single lock is not enough to construct a truly inescapable prison. A system of total control requires redundancy. It requires a seamless integration of different mechanisms, each reinforcing the other, until the walls are everywhere and nowhere, and the bars of the cage are woven into the very fabric of your existence. So, let's connect the final pieces. What is the architecture that ensures there is no way out? It's not a single system. It is a trinity, a three-headed beast of control. The smart grid is only the first head. The first head, the smart grid, is the nervous system. It controls your connection to the physical world. It dictates whether you have light, heat, communication, or transportation. It is the gatekeeper of modern life, the physical on-off switch. The second head is the central bank digital currency, or CBDC. This is the circulatory system. Do not make the mistake of thinking this is simply a digital version of the cash in your wallet. It is not. It is programmable money. It is money with strings attached, money that comes with a rulebook written by its issuer. They will sell it to you as convenience and efficiency. The truth is, it gives the state the power to decide not just if you can spend your money, but how, where, and on what you can spend it. It turns currency from a tool of freedom into a leash of compliance. And what is the third head of this beast? It is the digital ID. This is the brand, the unique identifier that binds you, the individual, to the other two systems. It is the linchpin. Your digital ID is the credential that connects your actions in the physical world, monitored by the smart grid, to your economic life, governed by the CBDC. It is the single point of failure for your personal freedom. Now, see how the cage locks. Let's move beyond theory. Let's walk through the sequence of events, a sequence that is not a dark fantasy, but the advertised, patented end goal of this infrastructure. Imagine you decide to attend a protest the government deems unlawful. Perhaps it is a protest against the very systems we are discussing. Your phone, a tracking device you willingly carry, pings your location. Facial recognition cameras, now ubiquitous, cross-reference your image with your digital ID. You haven't broken a law in the traditional sense. You haven't committed violence or vandalism. You have simply disagreed in a public space. An alert is triggered, not to a police officer but to an algorithm. Your digital ID is now flagged within the central system as non-compliant or antisocial. What happens next is not a court summons or a knock on the door. It is silent, automated, and devastating. The flag on your digital ID communicates with the smart grid's AI. Instantly, new rules are applied to your home's smart meter. Your electricity allocation for the month is slashed by 70%. Your smart thermostat is locked, preventing you from raising the heat above a chilly 15 degrees Celsius. The charging station for your electric vehicle, which you were forced to buy after they banned gasoline cars, is deactivated. You are now, for all intents and purposes, under house arrest, an exile in your own home. But the system doesn't stop there. The flag on your digital ID simultaneously communicates with the CBDC network. A new set of rules is pushed to your government-issued digital wallet. Your funds are not seized. That would be too crude, too obvious. Instead, they are restricted. You are now barred from purchasing airline tickets, train tickets, or gasoline. Your ability to travel is gone. Your spending is geofenced. You can only buy essentials, as defined by the algorithm, from approved vendors within a 5-kilometer radius of your home. You wanted to support a local farmer who operates outside the system? His payment terminal will simply decline your transaction. The system will not allow it. There was no trial. There was no judge. There was no jury. There was only data, an algorithm, and an automated execution of a pre-programmed punishment. This is the perfect, frictionless tyranny. It doesn't need soldiers in the streets when it has code in the cloud. It doesn't need gulags when it can turn every home into a comfortable, digitally managed cell. This is the future they are building for you, one convenient application at a time. They are selling you a subscription to reality, and the terms of service can be updated at any moment, without your consent. When every aspect of your life, your home, your money, your very identity, is a service provided by a centralized authority that can be revoked with the flip of a switch, you are no longer a citizen. You are a user, and you can be deleted. Do not be lulled into complacency. Do not accept the narrative that this is for your own good, for the good of the planet. These are the justifications used to market the most sophisticated system of human enslavement ever conceived. The comfort of today is the down payment on the chains of tomorrow. But the future is not yet written. The cage is being built, but the door is not yet shut and locked. Your compliance is the mortar that holds the bricks together. Your ignorance is the darkness in which they work. It is time to turn on the light. First, educate yourself. Go beyond this broadcast. Research smart meters, CBDCs, and ESG. Understand their language, their documents, their patents. Know the architecture of your own prison. Second, share this knowledge. The silence of the masses is their greatest weapon. Break it. Talk to your family, your friends, your neighbors. Send them this information. Have the difficult conversations. A population that understands the threat cannot be easily herded. Third, build resilience and independence. Reduce your reliance on these fragile, centralized systems. If you can, explore off-grid energy solutions. Support local food producers. Build networks of trade and mutual support within your community. Every step you take away from their system is a blow against it. And finally, speak out. Challenge the enforcers. Go to your local council meetings and demand answers about mandatory smart meter installations. Ask your elected officials to state, on the record, their position on programmable digital currencies and your right to privacy. Your power is not in a voting booth every few years, it is in your daily, informed, and courageous non-compliance. They have laid out their plans for the control of your power. But what about the control of your sustenance? If the smart grid is the off switch for society, what are they planning for your food supply? In our next transmission, we will dissect the smart agriculture revolution and reveal how the same elite syndicate plans to use AI and biotechnology to control every seed that is planted, and every bite that you take. Stay awake.